What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to today's edition of Dream Firm Spotlight. My name is Tyler S. Clark, co-founder of Dream Firms, where we create generational wealth and impact for entrepreneurial accountants by systemizing how they attract, win, and retain the business of their dream clients. And for today's topic, I'm going to share with you how I added $107,000 to my startup accounting firm in less than 1 year. And this story is meant to help clear some of the air about ultimately how we were able to accomplish this and really why it's actually significantly easier for you than it was for me. And you might be sitting there saying, but Tyler, you've got all this digital marketing stuff on your side. You've got all this advanced sales training on your side. How in the world would it be easier for me today than it was for you back in 2014. Oh my goodness. When I first looked at that, when I was getting ready to put this together, I said, it has been how long since I started my accounting firm? I was like, it was how many years ago? We're talking over 8 years ago. And I want you to think about the differences in life. If even a decade might make it easier for you to conceptualize, but how different is life from 10 years ago to today? Think about how much easier it is to engage with someone in a virtual environment than it was 8 to 10 years ago. And so the reason I say that things are easier for you is that the ability to connect with your dream clients in a borderless world where you can be extremely niche specific has never been more easy or more accessible. So let me share with you why things were more difficult for me than they are for you. So in particular, the strategy that we deployed for our first $100,000 in new business was a brutal one. Okay. And this is more of like starts between the ears, the willpower to see this through. Some of you might be familiar with a term called cold calling. Hopefully it's going to go extinct and out of existence in the not so distant future. But we had a very aggressive outbound cold calling campaign. I was cold calling. I had a team. I had 2 people, part-timers, 40 hours of outbound dialing per week. Shout out to Sarah real quick, who was on our outbound lead gen team. What a trooper, just crushed it. And my point is that this and many lead gen strategies that you'll deploy in some way, shape, or form will always have really hot periods and really cold periods. And the reason I say that is that you don't want to misread a slow period of a lead gen effort, and you don't want to misread a hot period of a lead gen effort. And I'll give you a great example. So we would have weeks where we would have 0, 1, maybe 2 appointments that were booked through an outbound dialing effort. And those were not great weeks to be a part of that. It's a lot of rejection on the phone. It's hard to keep everybody motivated. It's hard for me as the leader of the firm, the sales rep going out there, selling the services. And I'll explain a little bit about the selling side of it in a second here. But those are hard. Those are hard days. But the best week we've ever had in 5 days, we set 27 appointments in 5 days using the phone. Crazy to say that out loud. 27 in 5 days. So I say that because I don't want anyone to ever just look at the highest point and the lowest points, because there is a consistency that you will establish in any of the lead gen efforts that you deploy, even in cold calling. And I'm not suggesting anyone do that, just to be clear, but I am just saying, hey, don't overestimate what if it's a little slow in the beginning, or even saying, well, we got 27 this 1 week, why aren't we getting 27 every week? That's just not the way things work. So just understand the ebbs and flows of your lead gen efforts. Now, I want to talk a little bit about my sales approach, and again, why your sales approach is so much better than what I had to do. So we were doing really what you would consider cold calling and canvassing the local market. So I was targeting about 30 to 60 miles around my office. I was not doing a national strategy at the time. I'm not in the first year. I was not going outside the bounds of where I could actually drive and present to someone. So Tyler would show up. Tyler would show up, baby Tyler, right? 8 years younger. And I would have my presentation binder and I would go through my dog and pony show, very, very professionally done, pioneered by my father, much easier to do in a Zoom setting now with either a PowerPoint slide or even just having a conversation. You don't even need the slide deck. And then I would put together I show them the engagement letter, which we're going to be covering in the next week or two here with you guys. And essentially that was it. It was a full service accounting package. I would drive to them. I would show that we were willing to call them. We were willing to go to them and ultimately deliver great service. And so that worked well. But when it didn't work, right? When it didn't work, when either they weren't prepared for the meeting, they weren't there for the meeting, despite we call and confirm, we do all the things that we needed to, man, talk about wasting a lot of gas and a lot of time driving around for things that were just not going to materialize. And then maybe they'd rebook and then you have to go back out there and you could canvas while you were out there. But again, I'm saying this because the world is different and the struggles, trials, and tribulations that I went through during that time period are not the same things that you need to go through to be able to get similar, if not significantly better results with significantly more profit. Because if you're looking for premium clients, okay, and I know everyone's looking for that, the best way to get premium clients is to be able to have a main differentiating factor. And we didn't develop this really until my second year of running my accounting firm. And that differentiator for us was we're going to target veteran-owned businesses because we had a veteran that was running our accounting firm. So now we had this positioning in the market that separated us from everyone else, essentially. And that's when we started to get really, really awesome results. We started to use the internet more. We started to target people on the internet using that. And anyhow, point is way different in terms of results, return, and time required to be able to get the type of clients that we truly wanted. And our thought process were veterans are organized, right? Veterans can follow instructions. Veterans are also self-starters. So these were a lot of secondary psychographics that we identified that we said, hey, we'd like to get after this particular target market. And as soon as we made our website reflective of that, as soon as we made our outbound efforts, whether it was using online or even still using the telephone at the time, our results dramatically improved as a direct result of that, as well as the prices that we were willing to charge because we now became specialists, and specialists always make more money than generalists. So I'm saying this to you because I don't care necessarily where you are in your entrepreneurial accounting firm's journey. Wherever you are, you can transition from what you're doing to a significantly more profitable model that has less time, whether it's driving around to appointments, whether it's trying to hire, rehire, train appointment setters and cold calling yourself. There are smarter ways to do things. And there was a great quote that I heard last night while I was watching. I watched like one episode of TV a week, but it was Boba Fett. And essentially it said, repetition without insight will not produce new results. In other words, if you keep doing the same things without insight, you're just going to keep bashing your head against the wall. And the insight I'd like to just make sure you all have and walk away with is it's never too late to change. It's never too late for you to be able to get the insight from others, myself, your fellow colleagues that are watching this with you, and say, what are we doing differently that's leading to different results? What did you change inside of your firm that's going to allow you to go and get what you are looking for? And if you haven't changed anything, you will keep getting the same results. Okay. So one last funny thing about my experience with my accounting firm. Oh man, arrogance and youth are a funny thing. So if you've never bought accounting services from someone with a man bun, can you truly say you're an entrepreneur? So the reason I say this is when I was going and driving around, I had a man bun. Okay. I had a man bun and I was trying to represent a professional accounting services firm. And after I cut my hair, my sales actually went up, as crazy as that might sound. It's like, whoa, really? You cut your hair and then people took you more seriously? Yes. Right. And our image matters. But what's really awesome about this for you is you can control your image. You can look super sharp online at all times, right? Take your digital image very seriously, because if you take your digital image very seriously, guess what happens? When you show up on those calls and it matches the way that you look online, right? I've worked with people, they've had headshots from 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm like, what happens when someone shows up on a Zoom call with you? And it's right. It's like, you have different hair. You've got a totally different look about you now. You've lost weight. Like what? It's not the same. If there's a disconnect. And you want that to be as closely aligned as possible from what they could realistically see from you to how you show up on those calls. So again, your journey is much easier than mine is. And I'd like to make it even easier for you by being able to just shortcut the path. You don't need to guess. You don't need to try and figure out what to do online. You don't need to know how to shine online. We know exactly how all of these things work. And so if you are looking to radically change the direction that your firm is going in to get better results so that you can establish the foundations to add 6 figures of high quality business year over year, come join us in the Create Your Dream Firm program. The link will be down below. We'd love to have you as a part of this unbelievable transformational experience where you get an unbelievable number of resources to shortcut your path. So if you've got questions about that, I'd love to answer them directly, or someone on our team would be happy to do so. And that is our edition of Dream Firm Spotlight. Remember that only you can create your dream firm, but we're here to help you every single step of the way. And I promise you, your journey to 6 figures can be a lot easier than my journey is. No need for cold calling. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, everyone. And I will talk to you all very soon.